Here. Give up for Marko!
Hello. Yeah. Hello, first row. Yeah. So I imagine most of you don't have kids. Yeah. So I went to a friend of mine with my kid, who at the time was 5, and the friend's kid was 6. So kids, spending most of the day with parents or grandparents. They were playing like crazy. I was talking to my friend and his wife, and since it was late, we were invited to spend the night. So I got the kids' bed. Kids want to sleep together, so they got the marriage bed, and my friend and his wife, they stayed in the living room and just closed the door, fell asleep. So I was in this room with a hallway, and there was a bathroom, and I wanted to go to the bathroom because after being married for a while, you get used to masturbating before falling asleep. And the kids were still talking. I like to say it in this way, it's like a new state of things, only since recently, after a year, yeah. So kids were chatting still, and I wanted to peek to see what they're doing, to get some inspiration for the stand-up. And stand up. And I was shocked with the scene because it was hot as hell, and kids were only in the pants, right, in the underwear. How do you say it? So my kid was lying on his stomach a bit. Turned his back to the friend, and this friend was lying on the back and playing with his panties, really playing. And I needed several seconds to remember that he's 6, so he's probably not doing what I was, what I assumed immediately that he was doing. And also, obviously he was not doing because his penis would have to be made of some interesting material because he was playing. But in the moment, so I needed a few seconds. And then he asks my son, "Do you have nightmares when you sleep?" And again, I needed a few seconds because it was so perfectly timed question, right? And then I just started thinking, what if I actually walked into my kid having sex, my very underage kid, consensual sex, of course. And this scenario on receiving end, but in any case. So of course I'm not going to tell you that with these images in my head I just proceeded into the bedroom. I went back to sleep, right? Because if I tell you this, it's not going to be funny, just creepy, yeah? I don't mind being creepy if it's funny, but this is comedy, right? So, yeah. So yeah, I went back to sleep. I might have played with my underwear, but not just underwear, because you're half asleep, you haven't masturbated the whole day, and you're in this kid's bed, and you're in Rome. But yeah, I decided to sleep on it because it was confusing, and then in the morning, naturally I was like, okay, those guys are 5 and 6, of course, probably it was just perfect coincidence, but okay, coincidence nonetheless. I told it to my friend, he laughed, and to my adult friend, not the kid. And then I decided to, because kids are 5 and 6, obviously nothing was happening, they're too young to experiment. But I decided to not just visit my friend again, but once or 2 times a year, just sleep over and let the kids play together. And maybe, in 10 years, so these kids are young, horny teenagers, and they're I want to go there when it's a weekend. So when these kids are fixing their hair or whatever, because they're young teenagers, they're gonna go out, meet some other friends, going to the club. Just before they leave, I'm gonna tell them this story. And just watch the embarrassment, and they're gonna go meet friends being embarrassed. And look, as a parent, to most of you who are not parents, you're gonna hear all kinds of advices. They're mostly true. But nobody told me, so I'm going to tell you this: that when you have your own, when you have kids, your own kids. I mean, when you have kids, it's funny to embarrass them on purpose.